what are the different concepts of flow action, section, and within the section, what are the different layouts, how to use the scheme rule as well. So today, what we are going to see, how we can go for validations. So we can see in Pega provide actually a different view how you can put the validation. You can actually like just like if you need actually like the field should be numeric, the field should be text, or if you are applying for leave, so that actually you should have the leave available, so you cannot apply more than leave which is available. So that actually all the things we need to put the validation business rules around to support that. So that we are going to see today. What are the different concepts related to the validations? So Pega provide different level of validations. So some of the validation actually to support the valid values, they provide like drop downs or autocomplete, review buttons, checkbox. So anyone heard about autocomplete? Like what's the feature of autocomplete?
That's the one we have in all the websites, right? Like which we type in and it fills up for us. Is that what you're saying?
That's right, Manoj. Actually, like if you say a list of the countries, so you type A, all the A type will be common to that.
Oh, okay.
If you type like AV, only AV will be displayed onto that. So that's still like if you see is that autocomplete feature. So mainly like what's actually why they differentiate that one. So if you say you have just two valid values like what's your gender, male or female, that we can go for a radio button. Either of them will be true. And if the contents are around like 10 or 15, so that we can show as a drop down. So directly all values which are present, we can show as a drop down. If you say you have very large values, like you have a lot of products, actually like you say food. So in the food you have more than 200 items. So if you display that as a drop down, you will not able to display that all at once, and it will be like if you need to look for a Z item, you need to go down and find it for that. So that's why the autocomplete fields are used on the time. If you have 2 or 3 fields, like till 5 fields, it's fine to go for radio buttons or checkbox. If you have around 20 or around 25 fields, we should go for drop-down list. Or if you're more than that, we should go for autocomplete fields. Okay, and that's actually like you have different ways to get the validation. So Pega provide first feature is we have discussed about the type, right? Actually we have mode. Actually what's the single mode? Sorry. So we have decided like what's the type of the field. Like a text should contain only text, integer should contain only integer, so date will contain only the format of the date. So Pega First actually provide the feature of that, like how you want to get the validation from the type of it. So if we cannot enter any text in an integer field, we cannot give a wrong field into the date time field. So that actually like is taken care by internally by Pega. Okay. And then next is your Pega provide a different level of control, like UI control. So that will feel that how you want to display that field as in UI. So based on that, you can change the like it need to be numeric format, or you want to display in read only. All that there are different controls are present to display that UI. So it is a required field, or it should be conditionally visible. So we can put a lot of UI validation based on the conditions. Okay, and finally like that I described, drop-down list, autocomplete, radio button, checkbox, that also support the basic level of validations. Okay. Then Pega provides some of the rules as well. So there are 3 different rules which is actually like used in Pega to do the validation. So the first rule is called as validate rule, and second is called as constraint rule, and third one is called as edit validate. So validate rules are actually there we write the conditions, right? If you want that, okay, the leave which we are applying, that should be the person should have more than that available leave for that. If you are applying more than the available, you cannot apply the leave. And actually, like if it is rejected, he need to resubmit the request once again. So there are multiple level of validation we can put around the our systems. So all that is called as business rules to support that. So the validate rules are actually, like if we can say, we can write many things with the validate rule, like greater than, equal to, not equal to. We can use various functions in the validate rule. So Pega provide a lot of different expression, like how you want to compare, like if you want to compare two dates, you want to compare two values. So Pega provide different terminologies or templates to support the validate rule. So that I'm going to show you that, how that they are showing that. The next rule is called as constraints rule. So constraint rules mainly are the same as the validate rule, but only thing is that constraints rules are declarative in nature. So constraint rules are like Pega will, once we need to define it, and after that Pega will take care of the all the execution and everything of that. So we need no need to make any like reference that rule. So the difference between when we are executing a rule as a declare or procedure is that in case of procedure we need to define it and then we need to reference it where we want to use it. In case of declare, we need to define it once, and whenever it was referenced, automatically it will be the Pega will take care of all the calculation and value of that. We don't need to reference again in anywhere. Directly, like if you want to use the values, Pega will take care of all the calculations, values, and the error message will take care by Pega in case of declare rule. That's why we want that constraints rules are little difficult to implement, and if it is wrongly implemented, it causes problems. So it is actually mainly like done by SSAs to implement that. And finally, like your edit validate. So edit validate rule actually we define with the property itself. So with property, if you say some of the things that like email. So email, if you can see, email should have a particular pattern. So before at the rate of, it should contain at the rate of, there should be at least one word before at the rate of, and if we can see after the at the rate of, there should be dot, and before dot there should be some characters, and after dot there should be some characters. Okay, so there are different patterns are associated with the email verifications. So that we can get from the edit validate rule. So there is actually mainly we write some, Pega provides some of the like predefined edit validate rule to do that. So like the same way in US, different formats for SSN numbers, so that also we can provide the format for the same. And US have that phone number with hyphens, so that also we can provide that if it is edited or entered in the same format. So that's actually we need to do with the edit validate rule. Yep. So what is actually we need to write in our specification regarding the validation rule? So the validation actually can be associated with the where we are doing that in like in each which assignment or which flow action we are adding the particular validation. So we need to give that the validation associated with that specifications. So there actually we need to understand what is the functional requirement as a BA and how that can be going to technically implemented. So that we need to get the help of an SA, and he is going to use that advanced rules like validate, constraint, or edit validate rule to enable that. So normally like a BA, we need to define what actually like the requirements are and how that can be converted into validate rule or business rules. Will be get an help of SA, we can achieve that.
Mukesh, can you give us quick example just to get an idea?
Yeah, okay. I just actually, yeah, that's actually the validation actually I've done, only that I'm doing, and this is the only small part. It's not that much included as a BA role, so I've not included many things as the BA one. So yeah, that's the demo is only I'm going to show you that, like how we can include onto that.
Okay.
So this is our case. Okay. So if you see, this is our main, we have our, oh, sorry. So there is one way you can write the condition directly here as well. Like this is actually like for a BA, if they want to add the condition, they can add it from here. Otherwise we can, so this will going to internally, it's going to create the validate rule. Okay. So if you say I want to create some fields from here, the fields are not coming. It should contain all the fields here.
I mean, it should contain all the fields from our case.
Yes, that's right. It should contain all the fields from here, but no fields are coming in this was here. So I need to go back to the flow action, the actual rules where we are going to create that. Okay.
So Mukesh, like, can we validate when it is in draft mode?
Yes, we can do that.
Oh, okay.
In draft mode also we can do all the validation can be performed. So if you go to the time off, and I'm going to open my validate tool, so which is associated with this create request.
When you said draft mode, what did you mean? Draft mode?
Yeah, Manoj, actually I'll just show you that out. Okay, see, we have created the flow, right? Create request. Yeah, we have submission, right? Yeah, this one is our flow. We are using submission 1.1 or submission 1.0. Submission 2 is there. Okay, sorry. So yeah, Manoj, actually you can see we are using this flow, right? And if you see this one, draft on. So this means that like some of the rules which are not available, and I have to make that if something there is an error or some rules are not present, it will give me an error. Let me see here, some of the things are not available, and that's giving me error onto that.
Okay.
So with the draft on mode, if your flow is incomplete also, you can test it out with the whatever you have created.
Okay, got it.
So it doesn't need to be complete onto that.
So if the draft is off, then it has to be perfect. I mean, not
Yes,
complete.
that's right. Actually, like you see, when we want to go to the higher environment for system test or user environment like UAT, then we should remove the draft off and we should check that our flow is complete.
Okay.
And all the rules which associated with that, it's done. During the development or during the prototyping, we should make that draft on so that we can test whatever the incomplete things we are doing onto the flow.
So it's basically like in a development mode.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
So this is supporting that, like whatever you have done, you can test it.
Okay, got it.
It doesn't mean to be complete and then you can test it. So whatever you have done, based on that, you can test your applications.
Okay, if the application is complete, then we can like create any more rules or add any more rules to create validate it.
No. It's not that. Like you can create one more rule set and actually start creating the different version of it. So if you say you have developed your application and you deployed to the production, and after that business users came and they asked that actually they want, okay, this is some of the features they want more, or they want actually some of the things need to be rechanged, right? The process is not like that way. So that actually the change request will come, and there will be, we need to follow that the same application again to develop the new part of it. So the new version of the application we can deploy again.
Okay, so at that time we have to again switch on the draft mode.
Yeah. Actually, like on that time also, if you need to make the flow changes, you actually it's not mandatory to do that. You can make the changes with draft off also. So it doesn't mean that you cannot make changes in draft off mode. So if you need that, you need to complete the things before test it.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's it. So if you see your validation, actually like here I need to put the validation logic. So there's actually, for that I need to create a validate rule. Okay. So before that I'm going to show you the email. Okay. I'm going to use a field called as email. So for that I need to create a property. I don't think so. Yeah. For that we need to create the property as an email. In the employee, I'm going to create one more field, email, so that I can show you the edit validate rule for the same. So I'm actually moved to the employee data type, and in employee data type, I'm going to use the property with that as email onto that. Okay. And this one more field is missing. Employee ID is also not there in there. So I'm going to create as there I can replace it and come back.
And Mukesh, since you couldn't see that fields on the top flow, you went down to the app. Is that what it did?
No, actually, Manoj, I'm going to show you edit validate rule, actually how that is working. So I'm going to see which fields actually, so like your first name, last name, that doesn't like use its pattern. So I'm going to use a new field for email so that we can see the pattern onto that.
Right, yeah, but I think you were trying to see the field in one of the drop down, it didn't show up, pop up there, so you went down to the...
Actually from there actually started with the flow action, which flow action I'm going to use. So that the flow action where I need to create a new validate rule. So I'll show you that and how we can refer that validate rule here. So currently if you can see there is no validate rule come from here. So these are actually the previous one. So this is all the Pega provided features rules. So we are going to create our own rule for the same. Okay. So I just created a new field. So there it should be email. Okay. So directly, like if I'm using that field, it's in the background. It's creating that edit validate rule behind of that. Okay. And in my section, so I'm going to include this field in my UI as well. No, not ABC, sorry. It should be in time now. And within that you have user interfaces. User interfaces will provide you the sections. Yeah, this is because I made that sections to full section, so I cannot make the change from there. I need to make changes from the actual section rule itself. So this is the rule which is getting displayed the employee. Sorry, I changed that to page reference. Oh, sorry. Yeah, employer changed to field group, but it's still showing image. I think there is some issue with this one. Actually, I made that this one as a single one, but still it's showing as a field group. Field group list. So I think we have seen this one another class. Actually, still it's showing as okay. I think we have made some changes to this as well. Actually, can you just in UI when we are discussing about the UI, we have changed this grid one. 1 minute. Yeah. Oh. Okay. This is how we have used that one. So now this. Okay. We have directly used the property. We are not using that sections at all. The employee section, we are not using this one. So we have all the properties here directly. So here I'm going to include the one more property. So I can drag that property directly here, the email ID, which will be just I created. One minute. Yeah, I do. So the property which I just created in the employee, it will be reflected here as well. So email I can drag here. Okay. When I see the property, you can see the in advanced tab, maybe like we define actually like the UI control, it decides that it's an email one. Okay. So that actually all the features of that will come from that. Okay, what the format is going to use for the same. So we define some of the UI controls to decide that. So that can be done from here as well. So here actually if we have this is we call as edit validate. So this is actually using a Java regular expression to support that. So normally like it's using the Java method to validate it. So forget this one, and that was too much technical. So that is for an essay need to do that. So that's actually you need to use, this is a Pega defined one. So directly if you can create the properties email one, it will take the format of the all the things within itself. Okay. So that actually we have saved. So that is the one of the validation that actually we can use for edit validate. So declare constraint, I'm not going to show you anything. And the next actually we want to show you the validate rule. So I'm going to create a validate rule. So validate rule are also part of the flow category. So if you go to the flow process, and I'm going to create a new validate rule.
So Mukesh, all three are responsibilities of the SSA?
Yeah, mainly like validate rules are actually done by not SA also. It's mainly like the responsibility of SSA.
Okay, okay.
Yeah. So just actually for for understanding, I'm just showing it to you so that you will know
Okay.
that how validate works in Pega. Okay.
Okay.
So if you say, I'm saying that, no, that drop down also I've shown you. Yeah, one more field I'm going to add you to show the radio button. Okay, that actually we see what's the employee's gender, actually male or female, right? So that actually we can add one more field within the employee to show that out. So that email I've showed you. So we say gender, and so that actually I want to show you as pick list from here, and I can include the value, but I can change the format to display as a radio button in the UI. Okay. So that actually there's two values. I want to show that it will be displayed as radio button there. So I'm going to include. So if you have included a new property, if you're not able to see that, you should replace your App Explorer. So after that, the value will be reflected into the data model. So if I drag it here, okay. So currently, like it's showing as a drop down, I can change that the view to radio button. So that I can, you can see from here drop down. I want to change that to radio button. So you have various options to change it. So I made the changes to show as a radio button. So that actually you can see that's now changed to radio button. So this will actually provide that what are the valid values actually on that, and we can change that out. So one other way is your drop down. So drop down actually we have added actually type of request. So in the type of request, leave request, we have already used different format for the same. So here you can see in this one, in the like we have used the drop down feature. So there we have all the different type of leaves we can apply. We can get it from this drop down. And finally, like I need to show you that OBJ rules. So okay, so there, yeah. So here actually, like you can see, we made that as a required also. You can see star mark with that. So that two fields are already required also, like we cannot move without selecting that two values. So we need to make that as required also. So I'm going to put the logic here. Okay. So if you have seen that we have allowed time off and echoed rate. So what I'm going to see that your echoed rate should not be more than allowed time off. Okay. So that actually we are going to add the validation that whatever the validation we are going to that, your acute rate should not be more than allowed time off. Okay. So if we can see for check allowed the
I mean, it should be the other way around, right? The allowed leave should not be more than the accrued leave, right? Is it?
Yeah, actually, like see, like you have total leave. Yeah, right. Accrued should not be more than allowed, right? Like you have allowed 20, right?
Oh, okay, got it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you should not get more than 20 leaves.
Okay, when you say allowed means not as if like you applied for it and allowed.
No, 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 no. Actually, like it says that how much leave is total allowed for your company, okay. And then how much leave is available, and actually how much you have just accrued onto that. Okay. So that's actually mainly like it will come as a read-only field, and after that it will be changed again into that. But for the time being, I made that the validation I'm just putting that so that acute rate should not be more than.
Okay.
So if you see you have all the fields which is coming, so I've just to use word employee dot the fields. So I'm just that allowed time off. Okay, and if you can see that you can mark that as addition required, and if you want to add the condition, you can add that condition. So we can add multiple condition as well into a single field, and multiple properties can be tested in a single rule itself. So if you say like I told, right, actually they provide different functions. So if you click that, it will provide you the whatever different functions like template. So if you want to check a date time or operator as it must. So there is like a lot of different formats are there. So there are, as you can see, different rules, different things. You can call one more validate rule within it also. So here, if you can see, you want to use the compare two values. So if you can see, first number relation with second number. Compare two numbers we want to use. Okay. So if you say we want to go with same employee dot allowed time off should be less than your accurate time off. Okay, and we can write the message as well as like which message you want to give it for the same. So I can submit the same. Okay, so now we can see actually we have said that one message in this way, so this will going to work in that way. So now that we need to use the same rule in the flow action now. And we can save it out. Oh, I'm not saved it, or still I just came out, so that rule is still not saved.
If we name it right, what was employee and allowed time off? Allowed time off was a property name.
Yes.
Okay, and employee was, I missed that, sorry.
So if you see all the properties that belongs to the employee page.
Okay.
So actually we are trying to do that. Something was change. First number relationship with the second number. That's the
Is the property defined as a number value, like allowed time off?
yeah,
Have we
I think
mentioned?
all are defined as a decimal.
Okay.
Yeah, I'll just take it from one place. Yeah. Oh, okay. That's the problem. Accured rate actually was a text, so that's the creating
Okay.
problem. By mistake, actually I
Okay.
defined that as a text. Okay, okay. So there actually, okay. For time being, just to show off, I'm going to use these two fields, allowed and available time off. Okay.
Okay.
So I need to recreate the field in that one. So currently, I'm just trying to do without that one.
So you can't use that condition for text type?
Uh, yes, actually, like I use that, like there are two numbers.
Okay.
Yeah.
It has to be numbers if you want to use
Yes,
that
that's
greater than condition.
that expression why I given, right? The expression says that like first number and second number, and the second number should not be a text. So how you'll compare a number with a text?
Correct. Okay. Greater than or less than whatever. Yeah.
Yes, right. So that's actually like Pega provide that features while you're saving it, it will give you that lot of errors onto that. To resolve that, yeah, you need little bit proactive, some of the technical bits, how the Pega works onto that. So might be not required because that's why the validate rules are not part of the BA category. So they are actually mainly need to be done by with the help of essays only. The two instances are open, so that's creating problem. Come on. And just refresh it once, it will be better. So I need to use the different field like available time of and available time of time being, and then later I think we can change that the logic. Okay, so I'm just editing it back with from acute rate to sorry guys. Okay, so this field I'm changing it to available rate. So you see, and it's you can see. Yeah, so it's like just for testing purpose I'm doing it. It's not a valid condition, but okay. So I can change that message just for time being. Okay. Okay. So now if you can see this is saved properly now, and we can save our flow action rule where we have referenced the validate rule. So everything is fine, and then we can launch our case manager to test the conditions. Okay.
Mukesh, I had this question. Why do we always launch case manager to test the condition? Like we can also go to user, right?
Yeah. Actually, we can go over and either one of them. Actually, just we can see this is the view of manager. Like it's not that we
Okay.
are going to the manager. Actually, like we are
Okay.
just testing it out how your application will be looked to the business users or manager.
Oh, okay. Okay.
It's actually not that like you can test it from here itself. So if you want to go for create a new case, so there is an option to create the time off directly here itself.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So actually like normally we go for case manager or case user is that we'll get the like a real feel of them actually how that will be looked to them so that you can get the
Okay.
real feel of the user itself.
Right. Right. Ideally, we would test in both
Yeah. So
in
normally
manager and user.
when you want to see it here, yeah, we can use for user as well. or manager as well.
Okay.
Yeah. So either way we can go for it. Yeah. So here you can see, and one difference is that validate method will work when we're going to click the submit button after that. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it will not show you here. Actually, like if you see like whatever the values I'm giving, so what the condition we have given? Sorry, 1 minute.
Okay, so edit validate is checking the property. So for that is only for the field. So it will check before submit also.
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
If allowed time is less than available time off, then it's going to that message. Okay.
Okay. And what about the other one, the constraint?
Yeah, constraint are actually like I did not give you. That is like very more technical onto that. It's that need to
Okay.
be defined. Like that is
But
the
that
definition.
will be validated only when we click submit.
No. That will be automatically. Like Pega will take care of that. Not with the
Okay.
submit one. That will be also like on. So there is in the validation there are also two concepts are there. Are you going for client side or server side? So most of the Pega rules are also client side enabled. So yeah, that actually is good questions for you from your end. So if you see in your flow action, okay, if you go to the HTML, you have this option. So if you have enabled client side validation, then without your submit button, it will enable on that time. So what it does that, it's send the JavaScript related JavaScripts to the user browser. Okay, so in case of this, actually we can enable flow actions rules also to the client side as well. And it is a good practice that we should maintain the validation in both sides, in the client side as well and server side as well. Why says though? So in like many browsers, the JavaScript is disabled. So if JavaScript is disabled, the respective validation will be not done onto the client side, and that need to be done onto the server side on that time. Okay, so if you see, I'm not giving the start date, which is a mandatory field. If I click submit, it will give me error onto that. So this is that value cannot be blank, and in the available time of I say that it's more than that. So allowed is, you can say 18, and available I can say 20. So if I click submit, it will give me error onto that as well. I need to correct that first. So to see my start date on 24, okay, and I'm going to click on submit. So this time it should the validate should occur for this too. Something I think so. What condition I've given there? If employee dot allowed time is less than, then it's going to display the message. Okay. Yeah, so that you can see the message is came now, right? Whatever the message we have given, the properly validation is coming onto that. Yeah. So alert time of cannot be greater than the available. So I think the message should be opposite way. Available should not be greater than the allowed time of. So the message should be in that way. Available time off should not be greater than the allowed time off. So that's the only thing we can that way. So that's the way. Different ways actually the required. Okay, different drop downs, and here actually we made that is a read only complete section. So the values are not getting displayed, and we use the data transform to display that. So we can enable that data transform to put these two values as well here. So this is the different way, maybe like we should know about the validation as a BA. We should not go much depth onto the validation side. Only thing that how we can go for specification update or requirement update, that need to be done by our role. So that we can include that specification and documentation and update that the validations wise. Okay, so I'm going to stop today and then we can continue tomorrow. So tomorrow we are going to see automatic business policy. So what are the different conditions, how we can make our business rules automated, how we can route to the specific person, what are the different service level actions, how we can mail to particularly person notifications, and what are the different decision logics are present into the systems.
Mukesh, just a suggestion, like tomorrow can we just have a set of questions for review just to see if we have learned thing or there are any knowledge gaps from our understanding?
Okay, we'll start with the questionnaire sessions for 15 minutes and then we'll continue the session.
And Mukesh, I'm a layman in this thingy. I think Priyanka and Sonam has a lot of background in this. So if you, I mean, you know, I sometimes I'm getting, you know, getting confused here, here and there. So I mean, if you don't mind, like maybe tomorrow, like 5 minutes, just a recap, like exactly, you know, if you can just show me the flow, like, okay, time off, this is this, and this is section, this is this, this is that, you know, this is what we did so far, you know, just 5 minutes. I mean, you know, just to get any, we have so many different pieces now. I'm just kind of trying to connect it together.
Sure, Ashok. Sure, Manoj, we'll do that one. Yes.
Mukesh, yeah, same thing for me because I was attending that Pega developer classes. So this BA class is new to me. Even though I'm a BA, I never worked in Pega. So it's like, as Manoj suggested, we can just, I mean, just have a quick recap so that, I mean, I'll be able to reconnect with whatever I learned in the previous classes. So that's
sure, Aparajita, we'll do that one. And tomorrow, actually, I had actually one suggestion. Actually, see, this is actually we are going for. Just a minute.
Waterfall model. So we use the traditional, BA requirements and specifications approach. So this is also new to me. Yeah.
So you haven't worked in Pega then? No?
I have worked as a BA for a Pega platform, but not using the Pega 7 BPM methodology.
Okay. Got it. But still you guys have an edge.
Not necessarily. Very new to me also. So, yeah, like if we can do questions to see if we have really captured, understood everything.
Got it. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure, Priyanka. We'll do that out today. And apart from that, actually, I have one more suggestion. Actually, like, see, that actually I was talking about. You asked me one more application, right? Actually, so what I'm planning is that, like, time off application we are creating as actually as on hold, right? So I'm going to create one more, going to give you one more application like expense voucher. So actually you can do the same in HR application. So an employee actually like say go for reimbursement, right? So he need to submit the form and everything, and then it's going to be approved by the manager. Then it's going to be get the payment by payments team, right? So that actually we're going to do actually like from one more. Actually like there will not going for concept wise. We'll do like completely stepwise onto that. So that will be create the complete end-to-end solutions from that one.
Oh, great. Sure. Okay, so we will do that on our own, and you will check it something like that.
I'll provide you that what are the different steps and how to do that. I'm going to provide you a file for the same.
Okay.
Like the screenshots or like what we talked earlier.
Okay. Yes, that's right. Yes.
Steps to do it. Okay, sure.
That'll be great. Yeah. So that will help you actually to understand what are the different components, how the Pega application build in different stages onto that. So that will help you out on that one.
Okay.
Sure. Mm-hmm.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.